좋습니다. 실기범.
Here I am at my desk, trying to edit this film. Pictures of my travels spring to mind. A collection of many three-dimensional freeze frames. Time stands still for a while, and my experiences in Pyongyang are once more within my grasp. A reductionist cartoon style should help me better expose the essence of my journey. My first encounter with a North Korean was a fabulous iron-eating creature named Pulgasari. I love monster movies. I managed to get a hold of this film on eBay a few years ago. A trip to a film festival in North Korea would give me the opportunity to see more monster movies. Or so I thought while still in Germany. I find the festival homepage easily enough. The registration form has to travel halfway around the world by snail mail. After 3 months, I receive an email from North Korea. My science documentary about telescopes in the Atacama Desert has been accepted, and I am officially invited to the 2018 Pyongyang International Film Festival. I immediately start checking out what other films I'll be able to see at the North Korean Film Festival soon. A privilege, as North Korean films rarely illuminate foreign screens. This frustrated absolute ruler Kim Jong-il tremendously, and so in 1978 he had South Korean film director Shin Sang-ok and his wife abducted. After some ideological re-education, they were put to work making films like Pulgasari, which Kim hoped would conquer the world market. The monster movie at least conquered my DVD player. I hope they don't keep me there to shoot Pulgasari Part 2. I've been warned as a film director before my departure from Germany to be wary of these unconventional recruitment methods by the East Asians. At Beijing Airport, I wait for my connection to the filmmaker's paradise. Is the lady at the check-in North Korean? Will she let me take a picture of her with my little 3D camera? Day 1. After a 10-hour flight, I reach the Kim's Hermit Kingdom. My ticket to enter is the willing surrender of my passport upon arrival. As I take my first step into a public place, it's clear who plays the leading role here. Each festival participant lays a bouquet of flowers in front of the 20-meter-high bronze figures and bows before the leader grandfather and the leader son. First requirement for every newcomer. My entrance, not captured on camera. Basic problem. How can a director do his own camera work when he is also one of the actors and is himself under constant scrutiny? I kept my bowing before the two Kims as brief as possible. It was more of a suggestion. Ultimately, I am a son of the working class, and we bow to no one. This is a matter of honor. Before my trip, I hadn't planned to make a film at all. However, the Kims managed to force it out of me. So along with my own material, I obtained photos and videos from other festival attendees. I purchased stock from film and photo archives. Am I now making an anti-North Korean propaganda film?
To me, I'll strike!
The state forbids strikes.
Wait till the union hears about this!
Ah, yes, the union. Welcome to our ranks, number 1313.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
The state is the Supreme Court. Our decision is as follows. No more private property. No more you.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything!
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
My hotel is situated on an island on the southern limit of Pyongyang's inner city. No one is allowed to leave the building unaccompanied. My minders, who call themselves guides, picked me up at the airport and rolled my suitcases to the hotel with great zeal. I sit in a Korean restaurant and drink a nice cold beer. The two guides turn up, Kim and Kim, a woman and a man. They would like me to move to the European restaurant nearby, even though my glass is still half full. How the devil did they find me so quickly in this giant hotel complex with over 1,000 beds and 3 basements? Between bowling alley, swimming pool, karaoke bar, ping pong room, sauna, casino, hairdressers, and the massage club. First night in the hotel room, 28th floor. Super view of the Pyongyang skyline. Only a few kilometers away is a hotel shaped like a pyramid. The building was never finished, and the site is derelict. The North Koreans make the best of it and light up the ruins with a laser show. Looks fabulous. Day 2. Early morning interruption of my filmmaking. My female guide is checking on me.
Hello, Martin Schmidt? Yes, hello.
Apparently, it's time to get up. Does female Kim have the more maternal duties? 2 minutes later, my new mother calls again. I don't pick up the phone, happily under the shower as it rings. A few minutes later, energetic knocking on my door, followed by a proper dressing down. My new mother wants to know why I'm not answering the phone. Bus number 1, says my male guide. I am nodding jokingly. Okay, he makes jokes, with a shot of irony even. My minder is human, after all.
꽃다발을 드리겠습니다.
Несколько тысячелетий имел своего вождя, товарища.
Bouquets of flowers and bowing before the birthplace of the nation's founder, Kim Il-sung. Compulsory program.
1912 года именно в этом доме родился и провел
인사하지 내지
свою
말고 꽃다발만 드리라고 얘기하십시오.
10-летнем возрасте. Он, как я вчера объяснял, покидает этот родной дом, только возвращается
그럼
через
강의를
20
시작하겠습니다.
начинает
이 길에서 위대한 수령 김일성 동지께서 1912년 4월 15일에 탄생하셨습니다.
именно в
Kim
этом доме
Il-sung was born in this house in
соломенной избе.
1912.
만경대는 만 가지 경치를 볼 수 있는 아름다운 곳.
My new mother translates Kim's heroic epic into English. Nearby, the same procedure in Russian, Chinese, French, Spanish. The noise is confusing. I can hardly follow my interpreter.
Я сторож,
Every
который ухаживает за могилами
so then people
в то время помещиков.
and find many houses.
그 산과 묘를 지키고 관리하는 산당지기들을 위해서 여기다 산당집을 지어 놓았는데 이 집도 치즈가 지어 놓았던 산당집이었습니다.
Как
Originally, was the house.
I may then drink from the very spring that Kim Il-sung once ladled water from. It tastes musty.
колодец, ну где
A school class is here as well. They have to keep a respectful distance from the Chinese film delegation, although China is North Korea's best friend. On the whole, it's difficult to take pictures of ordinary North Koreans. Direct contact is not encouraged. After all, we might give the citizens some dangerous ideas. Nevertheless, over the next days, we festival participants managed to get some shots of everyday life in Pyongyang. When I get back to Germany, I'll load the snapshots into a 3D wobble format on my Instagram account. My new mother wants to know why I'm taking pictures of men sitting on the ground.
It's in Germany, we don't sit on those like this.
But for the most part, the guides leave me to my photography unhindered. However, they do watch me like a hawk to make sure I adhere strictly to the following directive. The leaders must always be depicted in their entirety. So, no cut-off heads, arms, or well-ironed trouser legs. Day 3. The festival starts today. Now the cinephiles of Pyongyang can catch a rare glimpse of the rest of the world. A few years ago, the festival only screened films from non-aligned states and developing nations. More recently, feature films, shorts, and documentaries from all over the world can be seen here. The Pyongyang International Film Festival always starts in September. It's a nice show and good for global prestige.
Delegations and all the guests from different countries of the world. Welcome to the 16th Pyongyang International Film Festival.
I do indeed feel welcome here. I don't have to pay any festival fees, and the hotel is costing me nothing. The film festivals in the capitalist world would do well to learn from these young pioneers.
Well, it's such a great honor for me to take the port with my colleagues here for the opening ceremony of the 16th Pyongyang International Film Festival. Thank you.
여러분, 그럼 우리 주인공들의 필름을 즐기게 다 같이 큰 소리로 합창합시다. Okay, let's count 1, 2, 3, all together.
하나, 둘,
There are trailers of a selection of the festival films. I hope to get free tickets. In Instead of stars and starlets, the praises of hard-working, ordinary folk are sung, somewhat different and, somehow, kind-hearted. What other festival in the world has its own flag and anthem? I don't know yet, thank God, what to expect of the opening film. The entertaining speech by the Minister of Culture, even though I don't understand a word of Korean, is an absolute godsend compared to the propaganda that follows. The message of the action war movie: do not cross the Chinese border, especially if you are a Muslim. 3 hours of rattling machine gun fire, limbs flying through the air. True patriotism from the People's Republic of China. During this interminable Chinese fireworks show, I project another film of better times onto my inner screen. Vernet con Coca with some chicas buenas, Bafisi Film Festival in Buenos Aires. I was a guest there in 2011. I'm looking forward to the festival party in Pyongyang 2018. The party location? A luxury restaurant. Very formal, very stiff. North Korean style. Second official speech from the Minister of Culture. What's my male guide thinking right now? Compared to me, weighing in at 240 pounds, he seems rather boyish, despite his 35 years. Almost a child, posture-wise. Are these the after effects of the famine here in the 90s? This makes me slightly uncomfortable. Nevertheless, time to eat and drink in baronial style, like a true Gerard Depardieu. Screw the diet. After the Minister of Culture leaves, the guides make their way to the exit as well. I guess there won't be any disco dancing tonight. Day 4. Awake at 6 a.m. without the deadening effects of an alcohol hangover. But I am regaled by the distant strains of Where Are You, Beloved General? The song was composed by the late Supreme General Secretary Kim Jong-il for a revolutionary opera, and today functions as an alarm clock across the entire city. All children love Kim, and all three Kims were here, as the plaques announce. Anywhere the Kims were, you'll find information plaques. Children walk past the Chariot of Joy on their way to the Children's Palace, where they'll put the finishing touches to their various art forms. Inside, the world is candy-colored. My travel group waits at the entrance for the children's show. Here we go, cameras rolling. The other festival goers are at it too, merciless. Everything seems too perfect and robotic. Individual artistic expression is probably not on the daily practice schedule here.
Fantastic, huh? Can you do this, Matthew? No. Me neither. South Baden. This is where I grew up in the 70s and 80s.
The doctors' and senior counselors' children learned to play the piano and went skiing in the Black Forest every weekend during the winter. But not me. None of that. Conservative heartland, where the old class structure still prevails. The only sports I did were the Federal Youth Games, obligatory for all students. Why should a future mechanic in the automotive heartland learn to play a musical instrument? Waste of time. Could kids be better off in North Korea? On the bus, I asked my guide if the kids were not put under severe pressure to be as good as they appeared to be. He says no. They were all there entirely of their own free will. How plausible is this, I wonder? Is it day 4 or day 5? My sense of time is completely gone. These excursions all over Pyongyang are never ending. The North Koreans are thankful to Kim for the Marine Mammal Center and are more than delighted to share it with their visitors. As North Korea is officially a socialist state, there is no private advertising. But filling this PR vacuum doesn't seem to be a problem. Video announcements inform us of everything the state has to offer its comrades, including the new space rocket. After the commercials, we finally get the Flipper Show, as good as any dolphin show at SeaWorld in Florida. Now we're at the Korean Revolutionary Museum, where we marvel at Kim Il-sung's state coach, polished to a high gloss. We stay on for an orchestral concert. The musicians present the European classics with technical perfection, but come across a bit too powerfully for my taste. The nuance is missing. A visit to the Natural History Museum is also on the program. The dinosaurs here are even higher than anywhere else in the world. Central Pyongyang. Very European, a triumphal arch. The monument is a memorial to the Japanese occupation and the Korean War and is 3 meters taller than its counterpart in Paris. Before me stands the tallest triumphal arch in the world. In general, the North Koreans have a penchant for gigantism. I wonder where this comes from. Is it because Pyongyang was occupied by the Americans during the Korean War, and that Kim Il-sung was only able to cling to power thanks to Mao Zedong? Are the North Koreans whitewashing the shame they feel over the occupation of their capital by portraying themselves as more powerful than they really are? The long-term effects of the Korean War that began in 1950, lasted 3 years, devastated the country, and cost the lives of 3 million people, have also had a palpable effect on my own life. The Korean conflict triggered a fear of war in West Germany, and this led to the foundation of the Federal Armed Forces in the 1950s. I was drafted to serve 1 year of military service in 1993. Bus to a perfume store. I don't buy anything. I do understand a little better what the guide's job is. They're not just there to keep an eye on us. They're also concerned with getting hard currency into the country. A few meters on, a gourmet shop. It's a Potemkin village, all smoke and mirrors. I also don't buy exotic fruit or bags of Capri Sun. I wander onto the street for a smoke. At first glance, normal citizens. But hold on, am I even here, being watched by informants? The shopping spree continues. I don't buy any postage stamps either. I thought I was at a film festival. But apart from the opening screening, I haven't seen a single film. There's not even a festival catalog yet. Normally, that's the first thing that's thrust into your hands. At dinner, I learned from my guide that my film has already been screened. We are not amused. Danny, a British director with Kurdish roots, protests loudly. And this authoritarian behavior pays off in a dictatorship. Danny will be allowed to present at the screening of his film. He told me later that the projection equipment looked like it came from the 1940s. Wanting to drown my anger at not being able to attend the Pyongyang premiere of my film, I drift up to the revolving restaurant at the very top of my hotel. A sign in the elevator says, 5th floor, floor for communication and TV rebroadcast. You can't get off at the 5th floor. There's no button. This is where you'll find the ominous central surveillance, the hotel's eyes and ears. In East Germany, it was known as the Stasi, the State Security Service. Filmmakers from Georgia, Italy, and the UK are already at the bar. Whiskey and beer, a dangerous mix. My male guide and a colleague of his join us. Tongues loosen. I criticize the leaders. I lecture that the whole thing reminds me of a monarchy, the same family ruling the country for 70 years. The guides are silent. Lights out in the restaurant. We part company, all of us swaying a bit. The smoke detector in my room seems to be spinning. Does the Stasi have eyes and ears here as well? I sleep restlessly in my very own Hotel Lux. Day 5. Hangover breakfast. Report last night's conversation to my table mate. He's a North Korea expert from Stockholm University. If they arrest you, it won't be in the hotel. That happens at the airport, just as you're making your getaway, he observes, ruefully. Will I be threatened with the same fate as Otto Warmbier? The American was also a guest here at the Engakdo International Hotel. He allegedly tried to steal a propaganda poster from the 5th floor. That's not a petty crime here in North Korea. He was sentenced to 15 years in a labor camp.
I became very scared, and I realized that I could not take the slogan. I hope that clearly explains the details of my crime procedure. Thank you all again for your attention. But I am only human. I beg that you consider that, and I beg that you find it in your hearts to give me forgiveness and allow me to return home to my family.
Stress relief with a handgun. Made in North Korea, declares my male guide proudly. They produce just about everything themselves here. Self-reliance is the national doctrine. His cell phone was also made in North Korea, he says. Looks like a Huawei knockoff to me. They never made a car mechanic out of me. Instead, even before my military service, I learned how to shoot with the German Customs Administration. But I didn't want to get in the way of the single European market. So in 1992, I turned my back on border shootouts. Quit the civil service after 6 years, resigned as an officer, and hung my green uniform back on a nail. 16 years after my border customs service, I want to see if I can still hit a bullseye. And at my request, my guides arrange a visit to the shooting range. You can shoot pheasants in Pyongyang if you like. Unlike the figurines outside the shooting range, the real birds aren't given a place in the sun. The animals are kept in pens right next to the targets where they'll be shot. I put on my ear protectors. A French director fires. A hit, just. The chicken-like bird is packed into a plastic bag and wriggles around for 45 minutes. Disgraceful death throws on a tour bus. The Pyongyang International Film Festival is the only film festival in the world where you can shoot your own lunch. Day 6. As I sit at the editing table and look over the photos of the children's hospital, I realize that during my entire stay in Pyongyang, I never saw anyone with a disability. No one in a wheelchair, no pensioners with wheeled walkers, and no injured people limping along on crutches. Where are all the infirm? I am confused. We've been shuttled to every corner of Pyongyang from early morning till late evening, like freight, from one Kim homage site to the next. The constant busyness has tired me out, and my orientation is shot. Next up, a journey all the way from one subway station to the next, giving us ample opportunity to marvel at the ornamental underground architecture. The subway trains are ex-West Berlin rolling stock. They were sold to North Korea at the end of the 90s. Here and there you can see the wantonly scratched windows, a legacy of West Berlin vandals. There is more to the world, Gao, I think to myself, as my new mother whispers heroic feats of the Kim dynasty in my ear. I'm getting more and more annoyed about the Kim's personality cult, and I am fighting against the pervasive conditioning. When North Korea is depicted in Western media, you nearly always see military parades on Kim Il-sung Square. Right now, I'm marching myself across this enormous parade ground. To honor the eternal president and his son, the eternal secretary general, a cyclist dismounts. His eyes are leveled at the leader's portrait. This is obligatory here. Right next to the soldier sounding the charge, we find Cafe Saha. Here, after all this trudging around, I treat myself to a Viennese coffee with whipped cream and chocolate cookies. But soon, the trek around Kim Il-sung Square continues. As we take in the Snowfall statue, my new mother would like to know whether Bonn is still the capital of Germany. She has never been abroad. Therefore, I do not trust her. Maybe she is too frightened or too loyal to the party. When she's out of earshot, I ask my male guide what he thinks of the fall of the Eastern Bloc. If it was discussed in North Korea, he says no. North Korea is stronger than the GDR, I say to him later on. A touch of verbal diplomacy won't do any harm. I don't want to get him into trouble. A small kiosk can herald big changes. Does the aroma of vanilla ice cream mark the beginning of a delicately burgeoning private sector? My new mother wishes to know if I am married. I'm divorced. Aren't you lonely? She asks. I deny this categorically. Happy single life. I acknowledge that in sickness or old age, it might become a problem. The guides have not shown me their wedding photos, but they probably look like these pictures I found in a photo archive. How did you find your husband? I ask her. My sister chose him for me. How did you find your wife? I ask my male guide. My sister chose her for me. The whole courtship rigmarole, reinforced by Western romance films, the most mendacious thing there is on the planet, which causes so much pain, just doesn't happen here. Life can be that simple. Should I ask my guides to pick out a new wife for me? Definitely the highlight of my trip, the mass games. 17,000 North Korean schoolchildren transformed themselves into a gigantic pixel screen. The choreography is absolutely precise, exact to the nanosecond. Much jostling at the stadium entrance. I hold on tight to my new mother's hand. She is visibly worried by the crush, as am I. And we're off. To properly understand the message, you have to watch the entire games from beginning to end. But my time-lapse version will have to do. Drones paint slogans onto the skies of Pyongyang. I can't help it. For some reason, the Korean characters remind me of Germanic runes. My wobbly handheld camera struggles against the teeming Kim show. Will the monumentality of it all overwhelm me? I must admit, I've always had a weakness for military bands. I've seen military music festivals in Basel and Munich, but the North Koreans add an extra dash of saber rattling to the usual symbiosis of marching music and acrobatics. Also interesting is what is not shown. No slogans to be seen glorifying nuclear missiles. The motto for the 2018 Mass Games, peace in place of cannon fire. I stare fascinated as the dancers twirl in the spotlights. Will the Kims finally win me over? Show me a director who wouldn't love to be in command of so many actors. Spartacus and Ben-Hur live before my very eyes. I love epic films, and the Kims are truly great directors. My conclusion after 2 hours of court theater a la North Korea, hats off. I am overwhelmed by the master directors of the Kim dynasty. Day 7. My guides have been by my side for a week, day and night. Don't they ever get a break? I ask Male Kim how many days a week you're expected to work in North Korea. 6 days. When's your day off? I'd like to know. He doesn't know. I'll be sure to lodge a complaint with your boss. Kim laughs. From the moving bus, I get some snapshots of young women waving red flags. They are there to encourage people onwards to work. Loudspeaker trucks provide further encouragement to the citizens of Pyongyang for industriousness. What constantly catches my eye are all the modern buildings in Pyongyang. Despite the economic embargo, the construction industry seems to be thriving. How on earth do they manage? Danny comes over. He has a currency exchange problem. His British pounds are worthless in North Korea. And there are no cash machines or banks that change money. I lend him euros. For tourists in North Korea, only US dollars, euros, or Chinese yen are accepted. I hadn't had any of the local currency, the won, in my hand all week. The shortage of coins makes paying a problem, but not for the ingenious North Koreans. Small change is given in chewing gum. Now we're standing in front of the Juche Ideology Tower, conceived naturally by the founder of the nation, Kim Il-sung.
Which has been created by the President Kim Il-sung. So the Juche idea has the main essence that the human being is the master of everything and decides everything, which means man is the master of his destiny and he has the capacity to shape out his own destiny. So we call the Juche idea man.
I don't understand the explanations of what Juche ideology is all about, and I couldn't care less. I really can't bear to hear any more of this Kim personality cult drivel.
So this is the tallest stone tower in the world.
Inside the tower, we find books and magazines on Juche ideology in all languages. We are allowed to write something in the guest book. Danny obliges, in Kurdish. Big discussion. Shouldn't he write in English? Otherwise, no one will know what he said. Danny holds his ground. He's proud of his Kurdish language, just as the North Koreans are proud of their country. Despite the numerous Juche followers all over the world, as the friendship plaques on the tower would have us believe, it's hard to find a Kurdish translator here at short notice. The page will be photographed. This is a way to keep North Koreans from studying Juche. They aren't terribly bothered by this at all. Danny's even asked to deliver a speech at the festival's closing ceremony. As I pack my bags at the hotel, I check out some North Korean TV. A déjà vu. Weirdly, the locals are obliged to run through the same itinerary I've been subject to this whole week, laying flowers, bowing, and patiently listening to the tour guide as she recounts Kim's heroic deeds. Day 8. Return flight to Germany. At the airport, the guides give me my passport back. "Do you have a tip?" asks my new mother. I'm somewhat disturbed by her request. Is this a trap? We're standing right in front of the customs officers. They see every detail. Does this constitute bribery, which will lead to my arrest at the airport? I mutter something. Wasn't the 2 bottles of red wine and the chocolate for the kids I'd given the guides the day before enough? A measly 10 euros changes hands. There, I'll be able to prove to the court that I hadn't intended to bribe them. I think. Totally naive. Of course, my 2 Kims want more hard currency for commodities that are hard to come by otherwise, I notice. At last, they let me go. Good distant view. North Korea's peaceful river and mountain scenery rolls away beneath me. I unpack my festival catalog, which I finally received shortly before my departure. Now it's official. The filmmaker Martin Hans Schmidt has honored the Pyongyang International Film Festival with his presence. Now I too am a tiny cog in Kim's propaganda machine and his pursuit of international recognition. How could I let this happen? A few days later, I stand before the Triumphal Arch in Munich. For a fleeting moment, that Pyongyang feeling returns. Will my guides finally have a day off?
Together here.